Alright, so I haven't been feeling the greatest lately. It's no surprise that cold and flu season is well on its way, and I've pretty much picked up a few of the symptoms of it. You know, stuffy nose, sore throat, and I actually kind of lost my voice a few days ago, but I am feeling a little bit better, so I decided to pump out another classic review for you guys. This time we're going to be delving back into the earlier PS2 games to review one of my favorite first-person shooters of all time. Actually mentioned it in multiple videos, so Red Faction. My favorite, or at least one of my favorite, first-person shooter games of all time. Probably up there in the ranks next to Halo, Perfect Dark, and GoldenEye 007. It's just really good in its layout, in its level structure, in its plot. Pretty much everything, aside from, say, the controls, and its difficulty level is a little bit pumped up there. Still haven't beaten it all the way, but I'm pretty much right up to the final boss. So I know pretty much everything there is to know about the plot, the character development, the twists, but hey, no spoilers here. This is an awesome game. It's been covered by Inacom Company of classic game room fame. If you don't know who that is, check him out. Probably put a link to his review in the description. It's an older one. It's been out for a few years, but he absolutely adored the game. Now, one of the most prevalent things in this game is the Geomod technology. And if you don't know what that is, here I'll show you. It talks about it right there. Geomod technology, destroy everything. Destructible environments are utilized pretty much everywhere where there's, you know, posters and rock formations. You can blow it up with destructible weapons, such as the rocket launcher, grenades, mines, pretty much everything. It's so much fun, and multiplayer is even more fun. This pretty much has one of the best level structures I've ever seen in a first-person shooter game. It keeps you on edge with the enemy placement, yet it really makes you think on how to advance once you've actually killed them all, which is a very good thing. Another thing that I haven't really mentioned is the fact that you can save at any time you want. So this boosts the strategy level, the strategic element as to should you save or should you not? Do you have too little health to continue on? Or do you just want to quit the game and come back to it another time? So if you don't have a lot of health, you really don't want to be saving the fucking game, because it will come back to bite you in the ass later. So that's just one thing that I would like to point out. So besides that, though, the plot is very decent, although it does have some sci-fi elements to it, and it is a bit cliche, especially in the dialogue, but that's not really unseen and unheard of in the first-person shooter realm. I mean, fuck, look at Perfect Dark 64, you know, or Perfect Dark in general. It has really cliche dialogue, really cheesy and corny plot, but that gameplay, holy shit, you know, just awesome. So, to get into it, it puts you through the eyes of the protagonist named Parker. You are a miner on your way to Mars in the year about, I think it's like 2070 or something, so it's a ways off. This game came out in 2001, so it's about 69 years away from the current time. And what's really interesting is the mining corporation is Altor, and they are the bad guys. They are the antagonists, the villains of the, you know, so to speak, and they're the ones who are I believe it's a clothing company in Saints Row 2, so it has a little bit of a tie-in a little bit later, and it's a really interesting point. It's a really interesting plot revelation. It doesn't really come up in this game, as, you know, Saints Row came in like 8 years ago, but it's a really interesting thing. So the antagonists, Altor, are basically a dictatorship forcing them into these mining caverns, forcing them to mine out these minerals that everyone needs to survive on Earth, and just low wages, horrible job, crappy benefits, you know, and the like. Until all of these miners band together and want to start this revolution to get Altor off of this mine, you know, everyone off the mine so they don't have to slave away anymore. They're basically stuck there until they do something. Now, really interesting note to note is that Altor themselves are running an underground experimentation lab on all of these miners, all of the indigenous species on the planet, and trying to form this virus. It's just kind of this plague that's, you know, affecting everyone, and it's of course killing them, but you know, that's the main plot, though, is when they get into it and find all of these, well, experiments, so to speak. So you uncover the plot along the way, and you know, when it comes to the plot itself, it's a little bit corny and cliche, but when it comes down to it, it is derived in science fiction. So what do you expect? So the twists are perfectly laid out and carefully planned, and when it comes down to the enemy placement, it's very intricate. And the gameplay itself is just phenomenal. Like I said, perfect level structure, perfect enemy placement, and a balance. You even have your platforming elements, you know, jumping from place to place. So I had to do a little bit of, you know, experimentation because at first it has you jump with the, I believe it's L1. So I switched around, you know, L1 is the action button, X is to jump, because that's usually what it is in platforming games. So it does have that platforming elements where you have to jump from platform to platform, and that's really interesting. It just keeps the entire experience just feeling fresh. So when it comes down to it, overall, I'd probably rate this game, you know, 9.3 out of 10. I mean, it's not as good as, say, Halo Combat Evolved or Perfect Dark. Well, might be just as good as Perfect Dark, but it sure as hell isn't, you know, Halo Combat Evolved. But it is an amazing game. I highly recommend everyone check it out. PS2, but you can also get it for PS2 Classic on the PS3. So, you know, look out for it. I think it's on Xbox as well. I'm not really sure about that. But you can find the second one on Xbox for sure. Second one's not so good. I'm done rambling. 9.3 out of 10. Thank you very much for watching. This is Midnight Strike 3625. Keep calm and rock on.